Today, we are going to be talking about course registration. By the time you reach your 4th year, you're going to be a registration pro, as you will register for your classes every semester. Today, we're just going to start with some of the basics. The first thing you need to know is where to find the information you need in order to identify which courses you need in order to complete your program. So I'm going to start by taking you on a tour through our University of Regina website and showing you where some of those resources are. So this is the University of Regina website. Hopefully you're a little bit familiar with this by now. If not, please take some time to poke around and get familiar with it. We'll be using this a lot. We used to hand out books to all of our students, but at this point, all of our information is available online, which is super convenient. So the first thing you want to pay attention to is this blue bar up at the top. For those of you who are concerned about COVID-19 and its impact on our campus, as well as plans for returning to campus in the next year or so, you can go through this website in the blue bar at the top. And here you will find all of the current announcements concerning our return to campus, as well as some information regarding learning remotely for students. So when you have some time, take a look through there and you can find lots of information about how your courses are going to be delivered. And as news becomes available and decisions are made on campus, announcements will be posted here so that you can keep abreast of what's happening and when we will be returning and what that's going to look like. The first thing that we want to do is get you set up with your University of Regina email. It's very important that you check this email regularly, because if the university or the faculty needs to get a hold of you for any reason, this is how we're going to do it. We're not going to phone, we're not going to mail, we're going to use your URegina email account. So let's get that set up. Up in this black bar, second link in, you'll see there's a link for the webmail, and that will bring you to this page here. Third link down, it will say find your username and password for new students only. So if you click on that link, it will bring you to another page where you will enter your student number and your birth date. So your student number can be found on your letter of offer. It's that 10-digit number starting with 200. You might as well memorize that number, or at least put it somewhere where it's handy, because you're going to be using it a lot. So you enter your student number, and then you enter your birth date, day, month, year, 6 digits, and hit find my username. At that point, it will provide you with your username, which is usually some combination of the first few letters of your last name and a number. And then your University of Regina email address will be that username at uregina.ca. Now, this username and password does more than just access your email. It is used for accessing UR courses, accessing the resources at the library, and any of the computers and printers on campus will use the same login information. So you'll want to tuck this away somewhere where you can get it. You'll be using it a lot. Okay, so once you've got your email, you can do a couple of different things. You can set it up to forward to whatever email address you like the most. The trick with that is you want to make sure, like, for example, if you forward it to Hotmail or Gmail or something like that, you want to make sure you tell Hotmail or Gmail that those are not spam emails, so they don't get sent to your junk folder. You want to make sure that you're getting these regularly. Alternatively, you can just log in here and check your email on a regular basis. I suggest doing it at least once a week. So there's a couple of other places that I want you to know where to find them. First of all, we have the faculty. So over here under faculties and academic units, you can find science towards the bottom, and that will bring you to the faculty homepage. There's lots of really good information here. You can link to each of the department websites. So if you know what your major is going to be, you can check out your department website here. There's also the Student Services website, and that's us. This is my office here, Science Student Services. If you click on that, you'll find lots of resources here for new and current students, including advising, support, and links, any forms that you might need, an extensive FAQ, and student resources. Now, this is a new website that we've put together so that you can find most of the information that you'll need, such as a longer version of this video, as well as information about courses that you can take, additional presentations for different programs and whatnot. Another important resource that you'll find in this black bar is the academic calendars and schedule. So let's click on that and go take a look inside. First of all, I'm going to point out the academic schedule, which is this middle bar right here. The academic schedule has on it all of the important dates that you need to be aware of. Now, in my long video, I go through what each of these means, but essentially what you're looking at is, start of term, start of classes, end of classes, what your drop deadlines are, and your holidays, so when school actually isn't in session. So this is a really good page to consult every year so that you can see when classes begin and when classes end. Also in this link, you'll find access to the academic calendar. Now, the academic calendar is essentially your Bible for the next 4 years. In it, you can find all of the policies and procedures of the university, along with the requirements for your program. So I'm actually going to show you this a little bit and show some sections that I think it is worth your time to take a read through. We don't expect you to read this whole thing, obviously, but there are some sections that will pertain to you that you should be familiar with. There we are. So I'm going to click on the contents over here so we can actually see the table of contents. And there are a few sections that I think it is worth your time to read through in some detail. So first of all, I suggest you start with the class registration and withdrawal section. This will give you a lot of information about when you're eligible to register, how you go about doing that. I'm going to walk you through some of these steps later today, but if you have questions, this is a good place to go to, as it includes all of the policies about class registration and withdrawal. Following that, we have the Student Code of Conduct and Right to Appeal. It is the student's responsibility to ensure that they are maintaining their academic records, maintaining academic integrity, and that they conduct themselves in a professional manner. You will find a great deal of information in here about expectations for how to behave on campus, to maintain academic integrity, and what your rights are as a student if you run into any trouble at the university. Following that, we have details concerning academic regulations. This will give you lots of information about the responsibilities of the instructor, the responsibilities of the student, rules concerning your coursework, attendance, all of those kinds of things. So before you start any classes, it's a good idea to read through this. General information for students will include a lot of information concerning co-op, work placements, support services that are available to you on campus. A lot of this information is also available on that student resources webpage, but you'll find the current information and contact information here. And then of course we have the Faculty of Science section. Now it's important for you to know that there are university level regulations and there are Faculty of Science regulations, and both will apply to you. So it's a good idea to get familiar with those regulations and which ones apply to you. In here, you'll also find extensive information on the science qualifying process. And a little bit further down, you will find the program outlines. So this is really important when you're looking to register, because it essentially lists all of the courses that are going to be needed in order for you to complete your program. That's the University of Regina calendar. Like I said, when you have a few minutes, or set aside an hour and try to go through and read at least those sections so that you can become familiar with it. Another important resource that is available using this black bar up at the top is the academic course catalog. So right here, this bottom one is the course catalog. And this one is really handy because as we were looking at the calendar, you saw that there were whole lists of courses by number, but it didn't really tell you what those courses were. So if you go to the course catalog, you will find the list of courses that are offered by the University of Regina. And so here they are, all listed academically. So for example, when we were looking at the biology program outline, you can actually skim through until you find biology. Here we are. So Biology 100, what is that course about anyway? Right here, we can see a nice course description. So this will tell us the title of the class. It will give us a description of what that class is, and it will list any notes, things that you need to know about the course, and any prerequisites. So prerequisites are courses that are required before you can take this course. Now in first year, there may be some courses that you were expected to have taken in high school. If you don't have those courses, you may have to take a prerequisite course. So you can find the course descriptions here. When you're looking at these number codes, what's helpful for you to know is that this first 3 is usually the number of credit hours for the course, and you'll find at the University of Regina that most of our courses are 3 credit hours. And the last number here is the number of lab hours. So in the case of Biology 100, there's 1.5 lab hours per week, which typically means it's 3 hours every other week. So this is the Science New Student Handbook, and it will include all of the information that you need in order to get started with your semester, including what academic advising looks like. If you're a science qualifying student, you'll want to read through this. It teaches you some of the terminology that we use. So you'll notice today that I use a lot of terms that you might not be familiar with. I'll try to explain them as I go along, but if you find that they're a little bit, if you're not really sure what it means, you can go to this page and it will explain some of those definitions for you. We go through a list of all the programs that are available in science, and then some general information concerning semesters, email, tuition, student IDs, those kinds of things. And then down here we have how to register. So although we're going to go through how to register today in some detail, if you get stuck, I want to direct you to the New Student Handbook because we do go through it step by step and you can follow along in that.